All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning.
Good morning. Good
Good
morning.
Good to see
morning.
everybody. Thank you all for joining me today. Come on in, everyone. Remember, like I said, share this video, like this video. This video today is a positive video, actually. There is really no bad news in this video. So, if you tuning in today, I'm not going to talk about any stats. You know what we do every morning for the last 5 weeks. I've been running in the morning, what I feel like or not, for victims of gun violence. And so today I ran for everyone who was shot over the weekend. If you passed away, we really apologize. We say sorry. Our prayers are with you. For the 8-year-old young man who was shot as well this morning, our run is dedicated to you and to your family. We wishing you a speedy recovery as well. So these things happen, but today is actually a bright day. We have heard a lot of bad news, but today is really positive news, great news, and the idea of how we can change our communities by influencing and making young people the influencers in their community, in their culture, right? Young people's today, their culture is different than our culture. We grew up in a different era. And so, what we have to try to do is that we have to try to meet them where they are, change them so that they can see that they are leaders within the communities. And then hopefully and prayerfully, they will go back and they will change and influence those around them, right? Because some people listen to me. Not everyone will listen to Nadine. Some people, of course, adults, normally don't think that young people have a lot of wisdom. So you know how that goes. There's always a divide between young people and older individuals, especially in the church setting. So today we have two great family members. Justin Jean, who's going to be alumni of the Flatbush Leadership Academy, and we have Nadine Sylvester, who ran the Flatbush Leadership Academy program. And I just wanted to say that, this program is actually powerful. It started after Kamani Grill was killed by a police officer in Flatbush. 2000 and can't remember what it was, 2013 maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. And in his death, we had these Brooklyn protests, and we thought that when I was out there every night, there was at least 200 young men and young women. Um, they were deep. I mean, I've never seen anything like that before. Never experienced anything to that level. I never experienced anything to that level in Flatbush that is organic protest against police officers. This was before everything that you could think of. Before Black Lives Matter, the chants were totally different, and this was the community was just ripped apart. And we thought that we should make young people the center focus of our work. And so we put the plans together, and I think 5 years later, here we are. So Justin and the rest of the folks in FLA, history is always important. You have to understand why you are in this program and why you got here. You got here on the blood of a 16-year-old who was killed. Without that, who knew what we was going to do? And we have so much more work to do. And so Nadine, why don't you talk about the program? You can talk about, of course, the Rohan Levy Foundation. And I'm just going to leave the conversation up to all three of us. We're just going to have a conversation, and then we'll talk to Justin about his experience. And then we'll talk about tonight. Tonight, if you're listening to this live feed and you have something to do at 5 o'clock, cancel it and get to Flatbush to see our graduation and our closing ceremony. All right, Nadine, talk to me.
So, good morning. My name is Nadine Sylvester. I am the founder and executive director of the Rohan Levy Foundation. I have partnered with the 67th Precinct Clergy Council to deliver the Flatbush Leadership Academy. And I'll give you some background of how this came to be. So, the Rohan Levy Foundation was founded in honor of my son, who was killed by gun violence in East Flatbush in 2017. The Rohan Levy Foundation is a program about mentoring, providing scholarship opportunities for young men to continue their pursuit of educational opportunities and civic engagement. And so when the Flatbush Leadership Academy was presented by Pastor Monroe's, we were thinking of creating a program to mentor young men in the Flatbush community. Talking to Pastor Monroe's, he's like, oh, I had this great idea. I haven't been able to get it to lift off. And so we partnered to deliver the Flatbush Leadership Academy because it's exactly what we wanted to do. It provides positive youth development framework to make sure that young men have mentors, they have the skills to continue to navigate their lives successfully and to reach their goals. And so we partnered to do the Flatbush Leadership Academy. We started with 30 young men. Our program will graduate 15 young men this evening. So if you can, you should come out at 5 p.m. to the Padgett Park to see our young men in the closing ceremony. They will be alumni of the program, which is going to be great because they're going to be able to continue to give back to our next cohort, which will start in October and November. So it's been such a great experience having a cohort. We had to navigate through COVID. We had all these plans. We partnered with Kingsbrook. They donated space to us in order to deliver this program. And with COVID, we had to go virtual, which kind of dampened the way that our program ran. But however, we had 15 young men persist. They are great. They worked on great projects. They did a service learning project. And so I'll give it to Justin to talk about his experience in Flatbush Leadership Academy.
Thank you, Han. My name is Justin Wallace Jean. I'm from Flatbush Leadership member, and I'm living in residence of Canarsie, Brooklyn. And my experience through the whole everything was wonderful. The start of it, I wasn't really sure at first because it was just a lot of people I didn't know at first, and I didn't think that it will grow to be something I would actually like being able to do, being able to go to. And the meetings, the programs, the events we always go to help our communities. It was fun doing because it made me feel like I was actually doing something to change to help my community. And one major event I remember the most was the Donald Trump Black Lives mural, where we went out and actually helped to make the mural. And seeing myself on the news and seeing us helping change the world, it made me really believe in this program and made me think that this is something that can actually help in the future to make the program bigger and to help the community into growing, into doing things to stop gun violence and to show Black Lives Matter. And it's more than just saying gun violence. It's more racial, and it's more just helping people of color instead of just black people alone, because it's also people of color who go through the same things as us, and it also helps us with that. And at the same time, they help us with political things, how to get ready for the world, because when you're not ready, the world can hit you hard and impact you and going into the wrong things. And they show us at a young age how to help us get ready for that. And I'm very grateful being into a program like that. And I really gotta thank my grandmother for putting me in something, because she couldn't. She didn't have to put me into it. She put me into it, and she introduced me to amazing people like Nadine, Gabriel, Jameson, and Pastor Monroe. And with them, they gave me options to help my community instead of being in the streets doing other bad things. And I'm really grateful for some people.
Yeah, that sounds powerful. And that's what we want to do too, as well, is provide that opportunity and change the trajectory of our young people by opening up a new world to them. So Nadine, what was the, well, before, let's talk about the program before COVID, as to how we laid out and how we going to, what some of the things that we had wanted to cover in this program.
Oh my goodness. Pre-COVID, we had a lot of guest speaker series. We were able to bring a lot of those over to virtual space, but we exposed our young men to people, especially men of color in the community that were community leaders, whether they were running for Congress, whether they had financial literacy. Prior to COVID, we had a coding class that was scheduled with Google. We did a college tour, a Black college tour. So we had lots of things that we were scheduled to do and only got to do some of them. We had a movie day for Charm City Kids, Charm City Kings, that we were not able to attend because we wanted to talk about how that impacts your life, your circumstances, and talk about our young men, making sure that they were able to create their own lives, even through their circumstances. With COVID, we went virtual, so we didn't get to do a lot of those things. However, I think the program was still impactful, that we were still able to bring people in. we did a financial literacy online. We were able to bring guest speakers online, but it did change how our program. However, we still were able to do the professional development, the personal development, and creating career exploration through our online programming. Just missing the hands-on component. The summer was was great because as they started to lax the restrictions.
One big field trip, right? The summer.
We had lots of the relaxing of the social distancing guidelines to the summer really helped our program. Justin was able to participate in what we actually do, whether it was mass distribution, food distribution in the community.
Yep.
Justin was able to go on trips. Our participants went to
Albany. Didn't we go to like Albany? Was it?
We did go to Albany.
Okay.
And the young men also went to Washington, D.C. With the March on Washington that happened a few weeks ago. So the summer provided a lot more opportunities than during the March through June, where we weren't able to do as much hands-on work that we were able to do throughout the rest of the year.
And young people normally would prefer hands-on work any which way.
Right, Justin?
They're not really interested in all of this virtual work. But Justin, did you do the summer youth empowerment program as well? The summer program, Hats and Ladders. All right, so you're going to be graduating from 2 programs today then.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we're looking. The pressure is on you, boss. The pressure is on you. Know why? Because you are in a position, and you are in a position that you have all the resources that you need in order for you to be successful. You have human resources where you have individuals who get up every single day to decide, how do I save another person from this world that we live in, this dangerous world, but how do we also point to you? So you have an opportunity, like I would say, anyone who is in the Flatbush Leadership Academy program and who is in our care, you have all it takes to be successful. And if you look at all the successful people in the world, my wife was telling me last night that anyone who is in gangs and crews have to understand that lifestyle is going to lead you to death. Why would you want to be in a lifestyle like that? It worth nothing. But when we give opportunities, it's that, could you imagine that you have to write, you go for a job and you need to have 3 references. And your 3 references is Nadine Sylvester, Louis Straker, and Gil Monroe's. I mean, like you go into that job opportunity and you need another 3 investors, and you have the Reverend Dr. Dave Allen, you have Charles Galbraith, you have, Eric Gans. You can pick and choose from any of our mothers who is doing work in the community, and you can definitely say, listen, I got people who will vouch for me, and we can vouch for you. So the idea of the Leadership Academy is not only what you did, but what we can also offer you moving forward. So what is your thoughts about that? Have you ever thought about it in that way?
I never really. Sometimes I thought in that way, but going into the program, always having the talks with Nadine and Gabriel, I always knew in the aftermath that I could always look to them for help when it comes to career-wise and college-wise. And I remember the talk, I think it was our last meeting, Gabriel said himself that if we ever need help writing our essays for getting into college and stuff like that, that he will be there to help us, and he could be able to vouch for us to gain accepted to the college we want to go to. And something like the opportunity like that is it only goes to the people who really want to be serious about it. And I guess I'm one of those people, and I'm grateful for it.
And I'm glad that you're talking like that too, because language is always important for us. And and thank one big shout out to Gabriel for really working with the young men this summer. But we all are here for you, and that's the beauty about this. We all are here for you, and for every young person who went through the program, and even if you didn't go through the program, and your parents listen to us right now, We want you to know that we're here for you. So Nadine, in the perfect world, how would this program look moving forward?
In the perfect world, we would receive grant funding again for our second cohort, which would enable us to continue to provide stipends to our young men. One of the great things about the Flatbush Leadership Academy, while it is great to have this network of young men, we also understand the financial need of the young men that we are working with. And so we provide stipends to them. So grant money would be important to make sure that we are able to provide them financial assistance as they go through the program. Um, uh, we would be meeting in person, which is super important, I think.
Definitely.
And Justin, you could correct me if I'm wrong. That's the most important part of the program, is being able to meet with each other in person. Like, that's how you develop your relationships. I definitely, Justin, was there a difference between the virtual program and the in-person program?
Of course.
And be honest.
Justin.
I wouldn't be the only one vouching for that. There was a huge difference because we actually had a lot of things planned, a lot of fun activities, fun events to go to, and the COVID came, quarantine came, and then Chad put everything on an absolute hold.
Yeah, our program, we had lunch together. So when we meet on Saturdays, usually we have programming, then we'll have lunch in the middle together as a group, and then we'll have programming to close out the day. With the online, we missed that part of where we had lunch. We got to know each other, talk about
Exactly.
just
Yeah.
random things. We bring in mentors to have lunch with our young people. In the virtual space, that didn't happen. So in a perfect program, we'd be able to meet in person so that we continue to build the relationships with our young people, and mentors have a space to meet with our young people to continue to provide mentorship to them. So those are the important things to our program: financial resources and meeting in person to continue to deepen the relationships with our young people, and mentors supporting our program. To be a mentor, you don't have to be this perfect walk of life. We look for any young man, any young person, any male that would like to join to be a mentor. You have to be over 25 years old, and share your story with our young men, and commit to meeting with them at least once a month. If we're in person, we can schedule those days so that you come in to lunchtime to meet with our young people. So those are the components of a perfect world program.
Oh, so what's the idea about just the all male? Because while we were out over the weekend doing our Juve and Labor Day weekend operations, I was talking to a young lady, and she was like, "Why is it only men, young men? What about the females and the young girls? Could you speak to that as to
We
why we
started with
decided just
young
men?"
men. The first cohort was only young men because young men are 2 times the rate to be killed by gun violence or any type of or to be incarcerated in our community. And so we wanted to pour more into young men, as we see that has been a challenge. However, cohort 2 will be young men and young women. We do recognize that young women are now becoming caught up in situations where they're being incarcerated because of something that happened. They either held the gun, they know of the gun, and are becoming accomplices to crimes that are happening in our community. And so we want to stop that earlier than before. So cohort 2 would be open to young women as well. But we started with young men intentionally because they continue to be victims of violence at higher rates than any other group.
And in terms of the space that is needed, Justin, I remember when we went to Coney Island to do the rally, and the first time that we had our Flatbush Leadership Church, and all the guys there were excited. In our church, we bought a basketball hoop, the small hoop, and all of the guys were in there, they were hooping, and I thought to myself, could you imagine if we have space that is really wide enough, have indoor facilities, swimming pool, 24 hours that any young person who's in the program or in that particular age can come and grab a meal anytime throughout the day. If they don't have clothes, they can come grab clothes, take a quick shower. And then, if they don't have clothes, they can come grab clothes, take a quick shower. And then, if they don't have clothes, they can come grab clothes, take a quick shower. And then, if they don't have clothes, they can come grab clothes, take a quick shower. And then, if they don't have clothes, they can come grab clothes, take a quick shower. exercise, be able to get on the computer and get some work done, fill out some application, and get some work to be done. So, one second. One. So I think that oh, we have, let's see. Hey, Latif, you ready? I'm gonna bring you on live. So Latif is on. Latif, you
Awesome.
ready? Latif, you ready? I want to bring on. Bring the camera down so we can add you on. Bring it down so I can see your face and get in one still position. You good? You ready, Latif? All right, hold on. All right, now add you to the stream, okay?
Hi,
All right,
Latif.
good. You're in.
Good
All right,
morning.
so hey, what's up? Next time, put your first name and your last name when you come on live, okay? But we got you, so people can know that you have your correct name. All right, so I was saying, but good to have you. I was saying that Nadine, if we look at the space, and when I saw like the just the idea of space is so important. A lot of people don't understand that. I think, and let me just pontificate here. I think that all of these big buildings. Oh, let me change my camera. I think that all of these big buildings um, should have space for young people, especially those big buildings. Like there's a big building that was just put up on Flatbush Avenue. I mean, Linden Boulevard. And in that particular area, you had quite a few shootings. And so they have these big, massive buildings, beautiful high rise. This is the tallest building that I think that we have seen in inner Flatbush. And I don't think that there's community space in there. So, like, I think that communities who have come into where we are looking to help and support young people have to be mindful of the community that which they're in. And not all communities should be used just to have luxury high rise. It should be a place where we can bring young men into these spaces to provide the necessary services for them. And I think that when you look at this, this is one of the things that I think that is definitely needed.
Justin could talk to that. So I know, Justin, after you went to a service project a couple of weeks ago, you all go to play basketball after, right? So I have video of that. So you want to share about that?
Yeah, that one day, it was me and some of the guys from the program. We went out to eat and we was just chilling. And the night was still young, and we was just wondering like what we were gonna do. So I said, "Why don't y'all just come over to my house? I got backyard with a basketball." And you saw what happened in the video. Basically, tells the story of how that day went in the basketball.
So space is very important um, for our young people, a space that they could call their own because it creates relationships for them. Basketball is a sport that brings people together. And so we've seen that happen in our program where young people are meeting afterwards to create spaces to continue their relationships. It's fun. They still talk after programs. So yes, space is important to us. And it would be great to have community spaces dedicated to the community where people could come together and kind of continue to strengthen those bonds between community and themselves. Hi, Latif. Good morning. You're on mute, but it'd be great if you share about your experience in the program, share your name, where you live, and just talk about, the program and the conversation that we're having now about what would make the program greater than it was for you. We still can't hear you.
Uh, Unmute yourself. Now you're back on mute. Now you now you're back on mute. Now you're good. Let's hear you. Okay. Oh, oh, He dropped. Okay, so no problem. He dropped. 1 second. So hopefully he'll get back in as we go along. Yeah, and to have that done and to have young people be able to have a space is so important. We have to have multiple different types of spaces, not just a standalone community center that we have to wait to build. Here he is. He's coming back in. Let me see if I can add him again. All right, we're going to try you one more time. All right, go ahead. I think we
All right,
can
so
hear
can
you
y'all hear
now.
me?
Yes,
Yeah,
we can.
All
got
right,
it.
finally. All right, so like I was trying to say, my experience in the program has been great. It only could have been better if we was actually like more physically active, but due to the pandemic, we was unable to do that. Like, cause we had a lot of plans like made up while we were still in a program, like meeting up at the location we were supposed to meet up at. So, uh, what can I say? I don't think I can say any more than y'all probably have. We have been meeting up to do our daily duties, such as like giving out masks and whatnot, and hand sanitizer and all that. And we meet up for other events too and whatnot. Like a couple of weeks back, I met up with James and others for the Brownsville pipeline. It was a little event thing we did to talk about it. It was other people there. Pretty nice stuff. Uh, what else could I say? I mean,
How was your experience
yeah.
traveling to Washington for the
Oh, to
March on
Washington.
Washington?
Now you see, my personal experience, since it was my first time there, it was pretty interesting to say the least. Uh, one downside that I could say is that the food was pretty expensive and it wasn't to my liking really. I don't know if that was just me, but it was good to see the people march and whatnot and see what they had to say or talk about. Not to mention that we met other people who were from Brooklyn, but they was also down there showing their support. So it wasn't just only us. What else?
You
Oh,
also went to Albany too, right?
Albany. Yeah, I went there. That was way back though, way back.
In
That
the
was like
beginning when we could meet.
that was. I think that was actually our first like yeah, that was our first trip we went to. It was really cold down there. That was also a good experience because actually met the founder of our school, well, my school at least, Eagle Academy. So I got to meet him, share a couple of words with him. Also saw a worker from my school and whatnot. So that was a nice experience. What else happened there? Uh, hmm. I can't recall much from that event because it was such a while back, but I recall it was fun for us. You have any more questions? I'm sorry.
We have a lot. We're not gonna ask you all the questions.
I mean,
So today, Nadine, tell us what time, where we're gonna be, and so that everyone can meet us tonight.
So today we will be celebrating these young leaders. They have done exceptionally well in our program. As you heard, the Flatbush Leadership Academy, the aim of our program is to continue to develop our young leaders by providing them exposure to all these experiences. As you heard some of their experiences already, they are our leaders. They've had some public speaking, they've had all these things, so we want to celebrate them. Today at 5 p.m., we'll be at Pattagate Park, which is at Albany and Farragut. Come out, they will be sharing their presentations. We'll also be graduating, closing out our SYEP Hats and Ladders program. So we will in all be about 50 young people from our community will be closing out from these programs, which have had impact on our lives and which will impact our lives. The ripple effect is so important here. And so we want you to come out to celebrate 5 p.m. Pattagate Park, which is at Foster and Farragut and Albany. It's free. It's in the park. We will be socially distanced. You will have masks. If you don't have a mask, we'll make sure you have one. Come out and celebrate our young people because they deserve it. They have worked so hard throughout this year to be in this program and this summer. And so let us as a community come out and celebrate them today. And while we have your attention, Cohort 2 starts in late October, November. If you can, While Pastor Monroe's has been running for families who have been victims of gun violence, please know that we could prevent this. And if you can today, donate so that we are preventing gun violence and not being reactive but preventative. Please donate to the Flatbush Leadership Academy today for our cohort. We lost our grant funding for our second cohort. And so we are doing this on our own because we know it's a value add for the community. As you heard from our 2 young men today, there are 15 young men graduating from the program. You've only heard from 2 today, but if you come out to our ceremony today, you will get to meet all of them and share about their experiences. This is an impactful program for our community. We also want community space. So if you have space, and if you like to play basketball and you have a space that they can play basketball, please be our guest. Our young men are closing out from this phase of the program, but will be alumni of the program. So they will always be in our fold and always be part of the network.
Well, thank you. We really appreciate it. We're sorry for the sometimes our signal go in and out, but we really appreciate all of you. So again, don't forget all of you at 5 o'clock tonight at Particle.
Oh.
And his signal fell again.
Yeah.
It happens sometimes. Thanks, Lateef and Justin. I cannot wait to see you all today, to celebrate you all today. I'm so excited. 5 o'clock. So bring your families. I know your family's going to come out, and we'll see you later today. We'll wait for Pastor Monroe and see if he comes back. Yep, his signal came back.
Yeah, he's here.
You were just talking about the signal, and then your signal fell.
The signal that so, oh my goodness, I don't know. Something is going on. Let me try to flip this up, flip this in. Everything is going wrong. But in any event, we are really grateful to everybody, and hopefully we'll see you all later on. So with
5 p.m.
technology,
Patigate Park.
sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work.
But you can see us all in person
All right,
today,
see you all.
5 p.m.
Take
in
care.
Patigate Park. Thank you.
All right, take care, everybody. Thank you.
Take care. Thank you.